Hello everyone, welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel once again. Today we'll be discussing on how we can make this flounce off-shoulder sleeve on the screen. So for that flounce off-shoulder on the screen, flounce you are seeing on the screen there, you need your basic long sleeve. Okay, so for your basic long sleeve, I have a detailed video on how you can draft your basic long sleeve appropriately. I'll be dropping the link on the description box below. Okay, so now the first thing we are going to do for this particular off-shoulder sleeve is to create the band carrying the flounce. So the band carrying the flounce has been created. As you can see, I have it here already created, and I've added my seam allowance. So but I'll be explaining to you how I got this strap. Okay, let me take it away from the fabric. This is the flounce. So if you look at that sleeve on the screen, you will notice that this is a full off shoulder, which if you are attaching your normal off shoulder, you attach from this end to this end. But you can see that from that off shoulder sleeve, before the strap is attached, you can see from the shoulder of that off shoulder, we came down by 1 inch. And from the mid armhole, you can see that the strap is attached at 0.75. So what do I mean by that? I'm saying that from this line I have, which is my cap sleeve line, this is the strap. Okay, the strap I cut off now is what you have right here. So you can see I traced out this strap right from here. Can you see that? So all of this is my strap fitting in, so I traced it out right from here. So this part is the folded part, okay, that is to be kept on fold. So I'm done with this off shoulder, I don't need it. So the next thing is, if you're attaching a sleeve to that strap, it means you cut off what you have here. So the sleeve you'll be attaching now, you are cutting it off to match up with the strap. This is what you are going to have for your sleeve. So that part is no longer part of the sleeve, and the strap is going to be built on top of the sleeve while you have the sleeve inside it. But the focus of this tutorial is to show you how you can achieve the flounces. Okay, you are going to sew a basic sleeve inside, the strap on top, and the flounce on top as well. So I'll be keeping this basic sleeve, off shoulder sleeve. Okay, so we'll jump into this tutorial proper. So now you can see my strap. I've already cut out my strap. Like I said, this part is on fold. You can see I have it on fold. So I folded this part as well. So if I have to open up this strap, this is what you're expected to have when you are cutting this. The center part is on fold before I cut, and I place it on fold again. Okay, so you can see I also hairstayed it. So if you are working on this sleeve, please try and hairstay it as well. So I have this sleeve now, the folded part on this part, and this part matching up accordingly. I added my seam allowances only on this part, and on the part I'm going to sew in this sleeve. Okay, so I'll set this one aside. So we want to talk about the flounce right now. Okay, for this particular sleeve strap I have here, I'll be turning it in, and I'll go to my machine to sew. That is after cutting the flounce. Okay, so I'm going to sew at 0.5. I'll turn it and give it a good press. Alright, so if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Like this video, share to family and friends, and drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Alright, so I've already drawn out my flounce. And my flounce right here, I have a detailed video on how to make a full flounce like this. Okay, so I'll be dropping the link on the description box, so you watch and know how you can draw out these beautiful flounce I have right here. So I use my marker to make this, okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, so it will be visible to you. So what I did is to stay my fabric, and I stayed only one part of it, and the lining part, I have another fabric for the lining, okay, for tutorial purpose. So I did not stay the part of my lining, okay. I stayed only the fabric part. So now the width of this fabric is 30 inches, the length is 30 inches. So if you are making this flounce, get yourself 30 by 30 inches fabric for one sleeve, okay. So the flounces I have here is 4.5 inches by width, 4.5 inches by width. So I started from the center point, and I have to make this flounce to cover the 30 by 30 inches. So if we have an excess, it's better than having a shortage to this particular flounce, because we are going to gather the flounce into the strap, okay. So now I'll be cutting my flounce. So I'll start from the starting point, and I'm going to cut my flounce all around. So I'll take my time to cut out this flounce right now, and we'll be going to the machine to sew this flounce, okay. So I will be using my crinoline. I have 2 inches crinoline right here. So I will go to the machine and place it on both fabric and lining, and I'll sew and turn and give it a good press. So I'll show you how to gather this flounce into the strap, okay. I also have a detailed video on how to sew your crinoline perfectly, okay, and how to turn it and top stitch it perfectly. I'll be dropping the link as well on the description box below. So the description box is just below this video, okay. As you are watching it right now, it's at your right hand side. So once you click to the description box, you'll be seeing all the references to the off-shoulder sleeve, how to make an off-shoulder dress and off-shoulder sleeve, and how you can sew your crinoline perfectly as well, okay. So I'll all drop the link, okay. So I'll cut off this completely, then we'll go to sew this beautiful flounce into the off-shoulder sleeve. See, I've cut out my flounce. You can see everything has been cut out. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut off this flounce on this line. So make sure you cut it off on this line, okay. So I'll be discarding this. We don't need it for what we want to do, okay. So now that I've cut it off, I want you to also note that I have my pins holding this flounce all over, okay, for easy sewing. And again, I want you to note that the lining face right side is facing the fabric right side. Can you see? So both of them are facing, while I have my stay on fold. So this is exactly how it was when I drew my flounce, and that is how it is going to be as I'm going to sew my flounce for easy sewing. So I'll be going into my machine right now. I'll pick up my crinoline. I'm going to sew it on the outer part, not the inner curves, please, not the inner curves. I'm sewing the crinoline on the outer part. I will sew it round, top stitch, and bring it back, give it a good press, bring it back for you to see, okay. So when sewing your crinoline, please don't stretch it, okay. So make sure you sew accordingly. I'll be dropping the link on how to sew it perfectly for you, so you can watch and sew perfectly. So I'll go to the machine, finish up my flounce, sew my strap, okay. Turn it around and give it a good press. Then we'll come to the business of the day. All right, so now you can see I've sewn my lining and my fabric, and I top stitched. As you can see, I also have my crinoline. If you look in here, you can see I have my crinoline, and I top stitched and gave it a good press. So make sure you give it a good press as well. I have my strap, which I cut and I gave it a good press as well. Okay, so make sure you press this down. Press your flounce very well if you really need to have exactly what you are having on the screen right there. So now I'm going to stitch close this part. I'm going to close it up and top stitch. I'll close up here and top stitch, then run my gather stitches in here, okay, and bring it back for you. All right, people, so now you can see I've closed up the edges, okay, and I've given it a good press. So now I'm going to, before the gather stitches, we are going to make a mark. Okay, we'll be finding the midpoint. I'll match this together and I'm going to find the midpoint because this is going to be sewn like this. Okay, so I'm going to find the midpoint. So this is the midpoint right now, which will be at the beginning of the sleeve by the front, as you can see it on the screen. So now I come in with my needle and thread. I'm going to use my needle and thread to make my gather stitches. Okay, so if you can use your machine to do that, you can also do that, but I'll be using my needle and thread for my gather stitches. So I'll quickly gather. Okay, at the end I'll bring them together before we sew. So I'll quickly do that, so we'll go into the sewing of this beautiful sleeve. Now you can see what I have as my gathers, which I made with my needle and thread right now. Okay, so I'm going to merge them together. I'm going to merge them together and I use my pin. This is where I have my pin, which is the midpoint. So now this is my strap. I'm going to sew this like this. Okay, I'm going to sew the wrong side. I'll place it like this and I'll sew from on the midpoints. I'm sewing on the midline till I get to where I have my pin. Okay, what I'm actually saying is this pin, this part I have my pin will be stitched 0.5 before the stitching, so we'll be able to have space to sew, or 0.75. okay, then this part I have my pin will be at the front part of the sleeve. So what I'm going to do now, I will go into my machine right now. I will sew the first one and I'll return, then show you how to sew the second. So I've sewn the part I notched. Okay, you can see I've sewn the first part, as you can see. So this is what I have at the midpoint of this strap. Can you see? So this is the part I notched. I came in by 0.75 and stitched. So now I'm going over to the machine to sew this. I'm going to sew the gathers to meet with what I have right here. Can you see? So I'm going to sew it to meet with what I have right here till I get to the end as well. So at the end of the day, this is what we'll be having. Okay, you can see that. All right, so if you wish to extend your strap, okay, because if you look at that off shoulder on the thumbnail, you notice that the strap is a little bit wider than this. So what I have right here for my strap is for 3 inches or 2.5. You can make yours 4 inches. So at the end of the day, you see that bow strap. You can also come in by 1.5 inches, okay, from the point of this. So once you sew 1/2 inch, you'll be having 1 inch left. So you can see the strap as it is exactly on the screen. Okay, so I came in by 0.75. So once I sew 0.5, I realized I'll be having just 0.5 and the strap will not be as visible as you are seeing on the thumbnail. So if you are making yours, please go in by 1.5 before you sew your flounce. Okay, so you'll be able to have exactly what we have on the thumbnail. So now I'll go over to the machine again. I'm going to sew my gathers very close, very close. So before you do the, please, before you gather, serge or weave this part. You notice that this part I still have some grain fabric coming out of it, as you can see. So make sure you serge, you weave around it before you gather. Okay, so I'll be going to the machine now to gather the remaining, so you see how it looks like at the end of the day. Done sewing it into the band. Okay, so what I did was I shifted a little bit, okay, about 2 inches, because I really need, once this band is sewn into the sleeve, I really need it to show, you know, come out nicely. Okay, just as it is on the thumbnail. So this is what I got, and I came in by 2 inches. So you can see this part, I have to put this part, sew this part. I'm going to sew this part right now, so I don't have everything come out, you know, like that. So this part, I'm taking it in. I purposely brought it out and take it in, so it has the same curvy effect this part has as well. So I'll go into my machine now. I'll top stitch at that point. I might also bring in this, so everything goes in. You can see what I'm doing here. So I have everything looking nice and beautiful at this point. So I'm going to do that, and the next thing I'll do is to come in with my appliques to cover. Okay, whatever appliques you have, if you have trimmings, you can just tack your trimmings in between there. Okay, so I just get myself a trimming right now to cover up, so even if the sleeve opens, you see the beautiful trimmings. And another thing you can do is just to come in with needle and thread if you wish. If you feel this part is coming down so much, or this part is opening, you can just tack, give it a neat tack. Okay, something like this, you can just give it a neat tack like that to form that beautiful. You can just tack in. You can see what I have right there. Okay, so let me quickly finish it up. I come in with my trimmings right now. Okay, so I want to use my trimmings to cover the rough edges. So I'll just measure out what I have on my trimming, as you can see. So I have it somewhere here. I'll cut it out, then I'll come in with my gum. Okay, so I seal up that rough edge. That is what I'm trying to do here. So I'll seal up that rough edge. Can you see that? All right, so I'll be placing my trimming right inside where I stitched to cover up my rough edges. So even if it happens that the sleeve, okay, you see through inside it, that is not a problem. You only see beautiful trimmings, as you can see. So that is how to go about this sleeve. I believe you learned a lot from this tutorial. Okay, so I'll be placing it on the dress form right now. This is exactly what we have, looking beautiful. I'm so proud of this sleeve. Okay, so now I'm going to place it on the dress form for you to see what it looks like. All right, beautiful people, so right now this is the final outlook of this beautiful sleeve, as you can see right here. So all you need to do right now is to sew your basic sleeve completely, your basic off shoulder sleeve completely, attach your flounce on top of it. Okay, attach this beautiful flounce sleeve on top of your basic sleeve, and sew the both into the bodies. Okay, so you can actually see that this sleeve is actually looking so beautiful and wonderful with your crinoline in it. Everything is standing and giving that fluffy beautiful effect. Okay, all right people, so this is how to go about this beautiful sleeve. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comments on the comment section as well, and your suggestions as well. Okay, so like I said, you can also tack this sleeve. Okay, so the flounces has the beautiful effect, so it doesn't open at the center, although we have a beautiful trimmings in between it as well. That does not matter at all also. All right, thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.